All right, all right, all right. So, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Dinner D, man. Another episode, man. I want to thank y'all for tuning in today. So, we got my boy Big Dose back on here.
It's
So,
good to be back, dude.
I appreciate this, man. Just let me get a win for the round table. Let me drop in, take over the spot. And everybody been asking like where he's been, what's going on, like why is he not here? Who is this guy? This guy needs a haircut. My haircut looks good. There's nothing to worry about, y'all, but everything is fine. Everything is well. This man is right here. So y'all got nothing to worry about. So we all
hey,
good. We all good.
hey, I feel you on the haircut thing. Notice I'm wearing the hat. All right, this has been a staple for the last few months. I even had the haircut, and I'm still rocking the hat. All right, that's the situation we're in right now. So there was gonna be nothing better. They would have been saying the same thing. Okay, I've got a lot of crazy talk. Usually, it comes back to whatever I'm doing here with my mustache, but it is what it is, man. It's look, shout out. I appreciate you filling in for me. It was huge. It was huge, and it was a lot of last minute. So I appreciate it, man. It was big time.
Man, no problem, man. That's why I said like if it was more a thing, I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I definitely blew this man phone up because I was just like, man, I rambled on this last one. I know I messed up, but it's all good. The best thing about it is we gonna bounce back and make sure it doesn't happen again. If it happens again, we gonna bounce back again.
That's it,
But
boss.
for this episode, man, we gonna talk about. It's been a couple years, everybody. It's been some time. A lot has happened with both of these franchises. So it's just more of the thing you guys seen the thumbnail. Now the real thing is let's really dive into it. Who won this trade? Now everybody's seen it. Everybody went crazy. Everybody talked about it for so long. Matthew Stafford trading to the LA Rams for Jared Goff, couple first round picks. Everybody was like, what is going on? Why would you do this? Why would we get Jared Goff after the Super Bowl? I don't understand why you guys would do this, but hey, all them picks turned out to land some key players that's still with the Lions right now. Some that unfortunately didn't stay too long. But what do you think about it? Just off just Matthew Stafford for Jared Goff head up.
Yeah. No, so I feel like I don't want to give that. Just say both teams won. I won't do that. I won't do that. But the first thing that comes to mind that I think of with this trade is from a fan perspective. I think both fan bases won. We can start there. We can get to the teams. I do think both fan bases did win out of this. Like for the LA Rams, where they were, it was weird with Jared Goff. I feel like at the ending there, obviously between McVay and Goff, it was weird because there was a point like he was like kind of wanting to bench him, and then he kind of couldn't because the backup got hurt. He's like, I got to play this guy in the playoffs, and they won the playoff game. It was a very like ugly ending. I feel like between that, and it was after already having paid the guy. So for their side of things to be able to make it happen, and the way they were able to make it work financially, because like they forget, I mean, they were paying two quarterbacks at the same time. They had dead money from Goff, and they had to take on Jared Stafford's contract. Now combined, it wasn't like ridiculous, but they were paying two quarterbacks at the same time for that first year to win the Super Bowl. So I think for their side to be able to make it work, and for that fan base with where it kind of was with Jared Goff, it was in a weird place, and it seemed like it had to go another direction. And for the Lions side of things, at the time, it was devastating because I was a big Stafford guy, so I was very upset. But obviously, looking back at it in hindsight, like it's a very, very big positive for Lions fans because through this stretch, we've been more successful than ever. I mean, unless you go back to like the championship era before the Super Bowl was a thing, this is the most successful the Lions have ever been. So to live through that as a fan is pretty amazing. I mean, we all want the Super Bowl, but to know that, I mean, really for the last 4 years, every game you feel like you probably should win the game is a completely different feeling as a Lions fan. You know what I mean? Like you have an expectation to win. You have an expectation to be in the playoffs. The fact that last year seems like a disappointment is crazy. It's nuts to have four straight winning seasons. Like it's a completely changed everything here. We've been a top offense for the last 4 years. So with that, I think from a fan perspective, I think both fan bases won. The Lions got a guy that they can cheer for because of the situation that he went through. And for the Rams, they got to put a guy in the spotlight that didn't have it in Detroit. So I think it worked out for both sides in that way.
Yeah, that's what I agree. Because I'm not gonna lie. Because when I was sitting there, just like, man, yeah, we lost this one just off the simple fact that all this stuff was going on, and Stafford keeps playing for championships, and he won the ring. But I'm like, you know what? To be honest, I'm like, I can't. It really did take me a minute. I think I was talking in frustration because I'm like, I was just expecting more from us this year, so I think it was just more irritated. But I'm like, you know what? To be honest, I guess what you said, like we both won because it's like, yeah, you end up losing Matthew Stafford. And that guy was tough. Like he was literally even when he played, even when the Rams played here and he hit the ground, I don't even care what nobody said. I know that man was knocked out. Like you see, it was like he was asleep. But the simple fact that he got out of it and then to continue to play and continue moving forward, that was the part I was just like, that toughness you can never find. That toughness is one of the reasons why I think he stayed here so long, because you could have asked for a trade years ago. You could have been, I'm not even going to say people's name, but you could have been like other QBs. Like, look, if I'm going to stay here, man, I need this kind of help. I need all this, and been more vocal publicly about it. But he didn't do that. He stayed true to himself. He stayed everything. The only thing that he talked about was his wife and his kids, and his wife going through all that. And I was just like, that's one of the reasons I liked him. But yeah, the Goff and McVay relationship definitely got messy, definitely got crazy. I was just more like, man, like what's really going on with this? But I did like Jared Goff. I thought, him being in the Super Bowl and him playing, it was definitely one of the things that's like, yeah, this guy needs a bit of assistance, because you can see where it was. You can see how like everything started to change. But it was just more like, hey, this guy made it to the Super Bowl. So you see that he's capable of making it. You just got to, build pieces around it. You can't just throw a team together and mash everybody and just be like, oh, yeah, this is it. We're good. And that's one of the reasons I was just like, yeah, it's going to take time, because even when we got this close and we really should have made it that year. But, just second half just ended up messing us up. And, I was just like, you know what? This team, we can definitely take it, which is why I agree with you. Like being, the season that just ended and being that way and everything like that, and the fact that we got that close was just like, wow. Like at least it is kind of a disappointment, but I've been a Lions fan my entire life, and having 4 winning seasons straight, it was just amazing all of a sudden. Because I just remember when I was 18, 19, God, I'm old saying it like this, but but when I was at that age, and it's just like more like, hey, Pops, what they do this year? Nothing. Are they getting the first round? Are they getting the number 1 pick? They might. They're gonna be top 5. All right, cool. And then it was just like, who's gonna come and leave this time, Pops? And and it was just more like, that's all we could talk about. That's what I was just like, well, maybe if some, Wisconsin or, Cleveland, somebody close by us has a good team, maybe we can, feed off them or something like that. But that's really how I was just like, okay, it's fine. We're gonna be okay. But now, new regime. I love Dan Campbell, love Brad Holmes. So I definitely think we're on the way, but it's really like to sit here and say like we're a winner and loser right now. It's like if I had to say it, if I had to pick, I would say the Rams are the winners, Lions are losers. But there's a reason why. Before everybody starts going crazy, before everybody starts telling me no, this is why. Because the thing is, in the day, anybody just seen that Myles Garrett interview with him and Micah Parsons, he said he's willing to get rid of this defensive player of the year, all these other accolades that he got by himself for a ring. And I feel like that's the end goal. And it's only, we're talking about 2 franchises, but there's only one that could talk about a ring that they just won. And it's not the Lions. So I feel like, trading Stafford, letting him win that first year, I think that what really makes him the winner is for the simple fact that not only did he make it there, but he actually accomplished a goal that we're still fighting for.
Yep.
So maybe if we end up making it and actually end up winning, then it's like, okay, now it's a draw. But don't get me wrong, like somebody's going to sit here and say, man, you just don't sound like a real fighter. It's like, no, it's not that. The thing is, like I just said, winning a Super Bowl is the most important part. Nobody's going to ever come out here and be like, yeah, I just won. I won. I didn't win anything, but I had some good teammates around me. If that's what you want, then Sam reported everybody that he traded for, that'd be good people. But if that's not the case and you actually focus on the ring itself, you got to give it to LA.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And I think Because ultimately, I don't know how else you can judge it. So I think that's the only way to look at it, right? I mean, the guy just won an MVP, and honestly, for Stafford individually, it was better for him to leave. I mean, numbers wise, it's been better with the LA Rams. It's like we saw the talent here, but from an efficiency perspective, you'd only get it in stretches. Now it's like, oh, this guy's really good every week. It feels like when you watch him, and it feels like they've expanded on the idea when it's being the gunslinger, but it's made it so much more efficient with LA. And and I feel like for Goff's side of things, you can flip it and look at it the same way as like you said with the Rams. There's a lot of micromanaging. It felt like that was going on, but the Lions like that had to change if it was going to change. But who knows if that ever changes with LA? I mean, getting the opportunity to go somewhere else where it's at the bottom forces him to take on that responsibility of how do we get this thing back on track? Well, we got to put it on you, right? We got to go through multiple coordinators to figure this out. So it expands his game too. I think about it like this too. I think about it from both coaching staff perspective, like Dan Campbell and Sean McVay. These guys both, I think, took a huge positive from because they both could look at this the same way as if our job is to identify, like what's the best that we can get out of a player? Like what can we see in a player that maybe hasn't been realized? Well, both coaches did that, right? Like Sean McVay recognized the talent while people, when he was in Detroit, questioned it, recognized it. He's an MVP now a few years later and a Super Bowl winner. Dan Campbell's side of things, recognizing, hey, that thing went sideways, but we still see something in that. Now he's playing the best football of his career and seemingly has a lot more, autonomy at the line of scrimmage than he's ever had. So it's like he has a lot more responsibility than he's ever had too. So both of these guys are able to see that in what they were both capable of. So I think from the both coaching staff perspectives, it was also necessary for these changes to happen, for the flip to happen, for both sides to come out in a positive way. I mean, I'd be curious to see what it would look like with Stafford and Dan Campbell. I'd be curious to see that dynamic because who knows? I mean, Stafford's still doing his thing. So you could have looked at it from like, hey, when you traded Stafford, though, he's older. So how long is he going to play? Well, shoot, he's still playing pretty good. So it's like, even from that perspective, I don't know. Stafford might have like 3 years left. I don't know. He might continue to go. But yeah, it's hard. But if you're just looking at it from like success-wise, you can't really argue with the Rams until we get one, I guess. But I will say it is the best the Lions have ever been. So part of me is just like, I don't know. It's
trust me. I understand. I'm with you. Now let's pray my computer doesn't crash, everybody. So we just look at the details. So you said just Matthew Stafford. That's what the end of Rams ended up getting, just Matthew Stafford. Detroit Lions ended up getting Jared Goff, 2022 first round pick, 2023 first round pick, a 2021 third round pick. All those picks ended up changing to Jahmyr Gibbs, Sam Laporta, Broderick Martin, who I just found out is not with the team anymore. Just got J-Mo, who just got that extension. So you know what I'm saying. Let me borrow $1, my dog. Josh Pascal and Melifonwu, who's not with the team anymore, is with the Dolphins, but I'm pretty sure he's gonna be out the Dolphins sooner than later because they seem like they're getting ready to rebuild. Anybody who's worth something is going to be out of there pretty soon.
Right.
But that's why I said, like, it's, a lot of these players, a good percent of them are really good. I'm going to get rid of this. I think this thing's starting to crash on me. Yeah. But, that's why I said, like, shoot, just getting Jahmyr Gibbs alone was like, yeah, that's a dog accomplishment getting Jahmyr Gibbs because it's like, yeah, man, you guys are – that guy is, I'm not going to say Barry Sanders, but dang, he's starting to look good. And I'm like, man, so I was like, y'all got to figure something out because these guys look really good. That and Sam Laporta was, I'm not going to lie, let me go back. I am, there it is, a TJ Hawkinson fan. So I ain't going to lie, I was a little upset when they traded him to Minnesota. I was just like, of all teams, you trade him in the division. I'm like, why would you do this to me? That you send him to the division. And I was just more irritated with that. But I was like, I understand it just for the simple fact that maybe you were looking at more of he's not a passing tight end, not blocking tight end, is more of a passing tight end. But I feel like that a passing tight end gives you more opportunities, but maybe I feel like Sam Laporta's can be a little bit of both, but, nursing that back injury and everything, hopefully he comes back next year, this upcoming season with, better injury reports. So we're going to see what happens with that. But that's one thing I've just been like, whew, I'm praying for good news, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was bad.
I mean, you could connect all those too, which is the weird part. Like trading away Hawk, well, what'd you get for Hawkinson? Because you had Laporta, or you eventually did get Laporta, but that also is that return from Hawkinson, which allowed you to replace him. So, like in some ways, you kind of also acquired those picks through the Stafford trade because you found your answer at tight end. Like you still got your new number one tight end, and then financially, obviously, it was a huge thing at the time. I mean, Laporta's going to get paid here soon, but Hawk's getting paid. Laporta isn't really getting paid yet. So, like even timeline wise, there was that value that the Lions got through it as well with certain draft picks. Flexibility was the biggest thing. Once we acquired Goff, we had no money at that time, so to acquire both of those things, it's worked out pretty good.
Yeah, and that's one thing that I was having because I'm like, how much is this? Is one reason why I've been pressing the issue. Like, you guys got to go for it all now. You guys got to figure everything out. We should hit to the point where we should go for it all, just for the simple fact that Jahmyr Gibbs and Sam Laporta, Brian Branch is coming up here as well. It's like, if you want to keep the same team, unfortunately, this isn't this is baseball. This isn't soccer where there's no salary cap. So it's not like you're just gonna just bring a bunch of people and just put them all together and just insert and be like, okay, we're gonna make it work. This is a super team. Like, you're gonna have to stay within that salary. We see that Brad Holmes is not one of the people that's going to go into the red for even a millisecond. They're not playing that in Detroit. So you guys have to be winning. That's why I was just like, man, like, I feel like this year is the year to go. This is the year to go for it, just for the simple fact that every team in our division is getting better.
What does that mean to you? Like, what like? Give me an example. What do you mean go for it? What is
because
that? How's that?
because
Like, what would that be?
because the thing is, I say this. We so last 2 years ago when we went 15-2, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you seen that, the injuries really killed us. That's the reason why you ended up losing to Washington the way you did. That's why the reason why everything happened. But people are like, go out here and just go get these key players, go get Max, go get Miles, go get all that. I hate to say it like this. Like, do I think these players will be good? Yes. My only thing is, when I say go all in, you see that Goff needs an offensive line.
Yep.
I'm saying go all in for our offensive line.
I'm with that.
Because it might not be sexy names, it might not be everything else. It might not be the thing that's going to like shake the internet, break to him like, oh, look, the Lions address offensive line. That's never something people are going to really be happy about. Oh, the Lions just went and got Taylor White from Cleveland. Oh my God. It's never something that's going to be like news all over the world. That's probably just be in Detroit and that's it. So it's never something that's going to be crazy, but that's something that needs to be addressed is the offensive line.
Yeah.
Because Taylor Decker coming back, which was great that he announced that he's coming back, but he probably got like maybe one more year, two.
Right.
Frank tried to come back, but he's still having injuries. So him trying to come, I don't think that's going to work itself out. So that's why I'm saying, like, you just build on this offensive line, give Goff some help with that. That way he can actually continue to do what he's been doing. Because, excuse me, J-Mo is still going to be J-Mo. St. Brown's still going to be St. Brown. Sam Laporta is still going to be Sam Laporta. Brock Wright's going to still be Brock Wright. You still got Monty and Gibbs in the backfield. You have these players on offense that's going to be good. The thing is, just keep everybody healthy, focus on that offensive line, and then maybe in the draft, go get some players in the on the defensive end and the safety, and maybe then we'll start to do something. But that's why I say go all in, because you can play to your people's strengths. Kind of what?
No, I'm with you. Yeah, the priority is offensive line for sure.
Yeah, and that's one thing that I've been saying. That's why I kind of like him, even though his name keeps drawing a blank on me every time I mention him. But the Seattle Seahawks general manager,
John Schneider.
Yeah, he deserves all the awards you can find in the world, because the thing is, this man plays with his roster. Like, he doesn't just like try to fit a whole bunch of things together and like a puzzle piece. Like, okay, this fit here, this will fit here, this will fit here. Okay, I think this will be okay. He's like, okay, we're gonna get Sam Darnold. Mm-hmm. Minnesota dropped the ball with that one, but thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
But let's go get Sam Darnold. So now that we have Sam Darnold, what can we do to bring out the real player of Sam Darnold? We're not just going to okay, well, we think he might need this. We think he might need this. I'm pretty sure they have a conversation like, what can we do to make this relationship thrive? And and you'll bet you he set the whole conversation up, and it was just like, okay, look, give me this, I'm good. And they addressed everything. And then it's like, okay, well, not only that, now we're about to also go get some guys on defense. Go get Dexter Lawrence who was previous with Dallas, put him there. And even though they're no longer Legion of Boom, I watched that Super Bowl. That defense was not playing. That defense was crazy. And that's where, like, yeah, like the offense may get you there, but the defense is going to win it for you.
Yeah.
We've seen that with Seattle, and we've seen that with Philly. So it's like the offense might get you as close as possible, but that defense has to be the thing that keeps you around, that keeps you flowing, that keeps you a contender.
No doubt.
And
yeah, I mean,
I
would say similar to hopefully what we continue here. They've drafted just really well too. I mean, a lot of that offensive line. It took some time, but at the beginning it was a little shaky. They had a couple like mid-round tackles that was like, are these guys going to start? They became guys. They added Zabel to that this year. I mean, a lot of their top players, like defensively touched on. It's been day 2 defensive backs. Throw Witherspoon in that mix too. Then we go Eamon Ward, day 2 pick, and it's like they've just kind of slowly brought this thing along. A lot of these dudes, guys that they drafted, the running back. I mean, both of their running backs, and that's the other element too. Is defensively that always carries in the playoffs, rushing the football. Like you stated, getting back to that. I mean, the last 2 teams, they said they ran the ball 48% of the time. Seattle did this past season. So they were nearly 50-50. Philly, when they won a Super Bowl, ran the ball 52% of the time. So they were running the ball more than they were passing it. In today's NFL, which never seems to be the conversation, but it does come back to that when it gets to the playoffs. Defense and running the football.
Yeah, and that's one reason why I was like, Kenneth Walker definitely did his thing. It's probably one of the most awkward things besides me getting tongue-tied during the videos was now sitting there talking about, like it was real weird. We're at a Super Bowl party. This dude's talking to me about a contract right now. Like, I don't understand why he's doing that, but I'm like, weird. Hey man, I'm drunk or not. Hey, people say when that liquid courage hits you, you get to talking, boy. That's why I said, like, hey, I can't blame you, dog. You hit him with the just give me my money. So I was saying, I get it, but I'm like, you know what, man? At the end of the day, he definitely deserves it because he put in his work, he put in his time. He may not have got a touchdown, but you definitely led your team to that Super Bowl, which is the reason you got MVP. Yep. I thought they were going to give it to Sam Darnold with him being a quarterback, but giving to Kenneth Walker made sense. But which is also why I go back to what I previously said. Like, when you give the Lions offensive line and a healthy defense, I think we actually got a shot. Because
no doubt.
Because it's even go back to, and that's why I'm glad they end up hiring someone else, because John Morton, I don't think he was bad, but I just think he was a little more predictable. And I'm not really like sure about how he ran a HB this, and I'm not that type of person to know that type of stuff. But I definitely myself and my brother, we definitely watched the game like, bro, he about to run it right up the middle. And it sure enough, he ran it straight up the middle. I'm like, Gibbs has never been that person to always run up the middle, which is why you always swapped it out with Monty, and Monty ran it up the middle. So the fact that you kept doing it, and even tried doing it with Grant Stewart on a fake, I'm like, dude, what is happening here? Like, you have to stop this, man. Like, you are getting very one-dimensional and very predictable, man. And I think that's going to be a thing that really messes us up. But as long as you don't do that again, we're going to be okay.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of ways. I mean, especially on a stretch, I wish they would have kept leaning into Montgomery, because I do feel like, as good as Gibbs is, and it's crazy because he's got so much more that he can get to, I feel like. I do think in some ways Monty's still the better runner stylistically in certain fits that you're trying to do. And on top of that, I do think that's where the O-line really hurt, because not only were attempts, lower, I believe they may have been about the same. But I also feel like because of the offensive line taking a step back, we didn't get the consistency that you would like. How many explosives did you feel from Jahmyr Gibbs down the stretch? You know what I mean? And then you get to the point where with Montgomery, I thought it just took so much away from what Montgomery was because of the style that he plays. You got to get that guy downhill. If he's getting hit in the backfield, it's just not going to work. He's not Dave Montgomery anymore. So it comes back to your original point, and I'm with you on that. However they want to do it, get the offensive line right. Everything else we can make it work, but that's got to get right in some way.
Yeah, and one thing I've been saying, I said, once again, I also said it in frustration because I was just more like, I can't believe this just happened, and I lost a bet. Shout out Dez, man. I didn't think that Green Bay. I was like, one of these shows I'm gonna have to, even though it's gonna hurt to spend money on that, I gotta go buy a Green Bay Packers shirt and wear it
Oh,
for a video. I am so mad about
it's
that,
not
but
great.
a
Yeah.
deal's a deal. So I told him I'll do it, but I was trying to talk my way
Terrible
out of
deal.
it.
It's not
But
great.
I'm like, I'm just, I was. That's where I was at with it. I'm like, we just got to get back to who we are, and then we'll be okay. I mean, then one thing I also said we should address, but let's see if they will, is this just the corners. Because I like Amik. I met Amik. He is really cool. And I like DJ Reed. Didn't have an opportunity to meet him. Hopefully I can see you at Detroit Spectacular this year. But they're just too small. They're just too small. I like the Carlton Davis, Christian Gonzalez type players, which is why I feel like that should have been something that should have been addressed. Even though I see that everybody's just like, go get a D and get somebody on the side of Huts. Go and get a D and get somebody on the side of Huts. Go get safety because Brian Branson's going to be gone for a while, and we're still trying to figure out what's going on with Kirby Joseph because the pictures he's posting online got a lot of people nervous. But I don't know. I've been looking at it and I've been asking a crap load of questions. I guess everybody said that's just normal, but also I'm not a doctor, so I can't really speak on it. What normal is when it
Right.
comes to medicine. But as long as he's fine and actually can come back this year and be the player that he used to be, I'm cool with waiting.
Yeah. No, I mean, and to me, when I look at corner, I like addressing, and I guess it's kind of the opposite. I like this offseason trying to find a true slot cornerback. And because, Meek's a free agent this offseason, Rocky Sean's a free agent this offseason. I feel like they haven't really had a true slot. They really have never hit that. I mean, at one point they had Chase Lucas, and then it was Brian Branch to begin his career. Then they kind of took him out of that. And then they went to a Meek this past year. And it was like, he didn't really do that in the past. They kind of went that direction. They may just lean into that again if they re-sign him. But to me, if there's a spot on that team that's just wide open, it's that position. And I think what I always think of, like what you're saying with the offense, like what's the Lions? It's the offensive line. Defensively, when I always think about what makes the Lions their best is just flexibility and coverage. Like they having a guy like Alex Anzalone's ability to cover tight ends and backs is unique. And I always think that they have that with their safeties too, because their safeties can cover receivers when Branch comes down. And I think that makes them so unique in what they can throw at you. I think that they lost it a bit from the slot position. They just don't have a natural fit there. And if there's a spot that I
Right.
would address, that's where I would focus. Because TA, DJ Reed, they're not. I don't think they're going to put him inside. He hasn't really done that in the past. They could, but you Rake Straw, like if he's healthy, all of these dudes are wide corners. Maybe get someone that's comfortable on the inside, and that's just his thing. That's something I would consider this offseason.
I agree with you. I've seen Terry Arnold. I watched his Twitch. I could do it's like hilarious. And it was so funny. I'm like, I gotta divert off for like 2 seconds. But I promise everybody I'll get back into it. I'm not gonna ramble this time. But my wife and I were at the Detroit NFL draft in downtown. Literally,
Yep.
they had a little part from the clip in the wall showing Terry making a freestyle and everything in me. This is right after CJ Gardner Johnson left. I sat here recording like this dude's about to wind up in Detroit and rap. And sure enough, as soon as we started getting cold, we started leaving. As I'm walking out, like Detroit Lions select Terry Arnold. I'm like, great. I'm like, I think he did good on the field, but I say, bro, just please, CJ Gardner Johnson got me traumatized when it comes to NFL players that rap. I'm like, please just focus more on football than rapping because I can't do it. But he actually is a capable player. He's definitely hilarious. I wouldn't even mind watching him again, but watching him on the outside during the training camp, he was beating people. He was going crazy. I'm like, man, this guy's looking really good. But then when it just started in the regular season, it just was penalties was catching up on him. Now, granted, some of it was like a lot of like hand fighting, and then he just got the short end of the stick and he got the flag thrown. But good percent of the time, I'm like, you're literally just like snatching dude down. I'm like, come on, man, like they're gonna call that any time of the day, man. So you just got to be careful in what you do, especially you go against certain teams, especially that game where everybody said it was rigged, and in the moment I felt rigged, but it's just we just got outplayed. The time when we played KC last year, and we were winning, and then we played KC in KC, and we just ended up just like just losing. And Terrion had like so many penalties and things like that. I was just like, yeah, this you got exposed. But that's also why I go back to coaching. I'm like, I just feel like Andy Reid's just a very good head coach. So you just got out coaching that game. But if you guys end up playing again, I feel like you can get you can get it back on you.
Yeah, no doubt. Going back to that game, I thought defensively the plan was just not good. Like that was earlier in the season, and I remember just not feeling great about Kelvin after that game. But I loved how he finished the season. I thought that some of the tweaks that they made, that was just one I just wasn't a big fan of. I thought it was just like watching them play pitch and catch on the outside. I was like, I don't know what we're doing here. And if I remember right, like I think it may have been 2 years ago, but with Terry, it was like a lot of those, fortunately, were early season, and he was able to pull back on a lot of those as the season went along. But I'm pretty sure he racked up because he had like 10 flags or something, I believe, on the year, something along those lines.
Yeah.
Like 7 of them were in the first few weeks of the season. Like it was very, very high. So the positive is he did pull back on a lot of those as the season went along. But you're right. Early in the season, it was a lot of flags on Terry. I mean, he's very athletic at the catch point. Ball goes up. That dude can go, just like harnessing it the right way. And if it was last year, I believe it was last year. I think at least it pulled back as the season went along.
Yeah, that's why I was saying we got it. It's a work in progress. They'll definitely get it there. But I got a question for you. I didn't ask this before. I should have asked this beforehand, but I do have them. You were in the front office of Detroit Lions right now. This is a upcoming season. People are telling you, okay, you're not going to get Frank back. Taylor's coming back for one more year. Next year, you got to pay Gibbs, Laporta, got to pay Branch. You got to pay these people, but you don't have enough to do it. But you would – Goff restructuring his contract, St. Brown restructuring his contract. What is the thing that you're focusing on this offseason?
So, okay, I'm a little different on this one. The Gibbs one, I don't know if I would extend him right now, to be honest with you. Now, the 5th-year option's there, so I think that's a big part of it, is because if they pick it up and they do extend him, they could lower that cap number next year versus what it would sit at. So that might be the reason to do it, just so that it saves them some money. But I think to what you're saying, if you can't pay all of those guys, we got to figure out what the priority is. For me personally, my priority of all of them would likely be Jack Campbell at the top. That'd be my first priority, and Brian Branch right next to him. Those would be my 2 priorities of the other guys, and I'd work from there. But those are the 2 that I feel personally, those are 2 that I can't let go. I just think they are who you are as a team defensively. That said, though, my priority this offseason would be just what we hit on. It would be addressing the offensive line. And the good thing is I think because of where we sit in the draft, I mean, whether that's making a trade before the draft happens, I'd consider it. I'd call around, see if I can grab a center from somewhere. I just think the interior needs to be more reliable. I mean, I like some of the young guys that we have, but I can't go into this offseason and say I'm good at left guard. Like, I like Miles Frazier. I liked him a lot at LSU, but I can't say that coming into the year. If that happens, it happens. But that can't be the expectations that he's starting based on last year. Same thing with Mahogany for me. Same thing with Glasgow, whether they cut him or not. So for me, the interior is the focus. And I think the positive is when you pick a 17, you could have the top interior offensive lineman off the board. He might be a tackle that's playing guard, but you could have the top interior offensive lineman that gets taken. And I think having that at 50 as well, it puts you right in a spot where you could have one of the top interior offensive linemen coming off the board, whether that's a starting center, starting guard. Like last year, you had Tate in the 2nd round, and it's going to be much higher this time around without having to trade up. So I think they're sitting in a great spot to do it, but I'm right with you. That's exactly what I would focus on.
Yeah, that's why I agree. That's what I say. You gotta focus on the strength, because you see with Goff, when people say he's more of a system QB. I've really never understood that until I seen it. It was like, okay, this didn't work out, this didn't work out, this didn't work out. Okay, crap, what's next? I feel like maybe that's what they're saying when they say system versus people saying, okay, he's just a scrambler like Jalen Hurts. I'm like, Jalen Hurts be like, okay, this didn't work. I'm not gonna run. I'm like,
right.
Yeah. I was like, maybe that's what they mean by system and scrambler. So I was like, okay, maybe that's it. But Goff, I'm not gonna lie, Goff did that his first year in Detroit, and maybe that's the reason why they changed it. But I sure remember watching that the first year.
He did what?
Like running, because I'm telling you, we legit had tickets to go to the San Fran 49ers game when he first came here.
Yep.
And when we were watching the game and we were screaming, like everybody was going crazy. And then next it was like I still remember the last play. Oh my God, I still remember the last play of the game. It's like Goff couldn't throw the ball, so he ends up running. He got almost there, And then Nick Bosa ends up tackling them, and then Nick Bosa ends up like doing this, like let's sit out there just staring at the camera. I'm just like, I'm so sick about this right now.
Hey, it was close, man. I thought we were gonna make an amazing comeback.
Yeah, I thought it was too, man. But then listen to everybody sitting there talking about same old Lions, same old Lions. I'm like, man, this is nowhere near the same old Lions. Like the fact that everybody even like, you know what? Let's do that. Let's kill that off right now. The same old Lions thing is gone. That's been gone for years now. Like the same old Lions wouldn't have been fighting for the number 1 pick. They wouldn't have been fighting for playoff contention. They wouldn't even been a threat to anything. We wouldn't have been having a first round bye, nothing. We would have been literally sitting here talking about what player would fit us with the number 1 or top 5 pick. So this is one. That's what the same old Lions were good for. Just constantly rebuilding, and things like that. But this team, they're not rebuilding anymore. I do feel like if they just stay healthy, we probably could have won a championship right now. Especially when I said it previously with that 15-2 season. If everybody was healthy, I don't know. I watched the game, even though I watched it with an attitude, but watching San Fran play KC in the Super Bowl and knowing that it could have been us, and I'm like, we could have gave them a fight. We could have gave them a run for their money more than San Fran did.
Yeah. I don't think you're wrong, man. And I mean, we'll see how it turns out, but I think there's a world in which Calvin Shepard's a better defensive coordinator there than Glenn. That's not taking anything away from Glenn. It's more so just to lift up Calvin Shepard. I think it's possible that he might be better at this. And I think last year, we'll see. I want to see how it translates into this year. But I do think that sometimes having years like last year is the best thing for you, where it's like we have to try something new, because right now they were in a spot last year where they couldn't be themselves to win games, if that makes sense. Like offensively, they couldn't just you're going to lean on teams and run all over them, because they were losing the rushing battle every week. It was like, oh, we're a pass first team now. And defensively, it was like, hey, man, we're beat up again. Our corners don't know who's playing at this point. So it had to be something different, because now we're not dominating run defense. Now guys are popping things against us. So it was like, what do we need to change, and dramatic changes during the seasons to give ourselves a chance? And even though they didn't get to where we were close, we didn't get to the playoffs. Sometimes I think that is the best thing that you have to go through, to be like, when we do get this thing right, now we're more flexible than we've been before, because we were forced to go that direction. So I'm curious with Kelvin coming back into next year, hopefully getting healthier in a lot of these spots, adding new pieces to it, where the flexibility they added, because I think it was even Dan that said it, like that's going to be an emphasis. They want to have these smart players defensively, where we can be more adjustment oriented defensively, right? We can throw more at teams, more disguising things. And I think that kind of thing can be very beneficial to have a down year for that. Plus you get a better draft pick. So maybe it does work out.
Yeah, I get it. Because everybody even said, with John Morton, now that he's gone, it was like, now Dan doesn't have to call the plays, and Dan doesn't have to be focused solely on the offense. So now he can continue to do what Dan Campbell drive that. So that's one thing that I was like, yeah, maybe it does help. It hurts in the moment because you expect it more, but maybe it'll help in the long run, because now it's like, okay, not only do you have a better better schedule because you lost, but now you should be able to have a better draft pick. And I also feel like, as crazy as it sounds, the expectations were like way up here. But now it's just more like, okay, we brought it down. And the good thing is, a lot of the people that were bandwagoners and just got here just to be here, a lot of them fell off. And a lot of them are, in Chicago right now, freezing. So, just continue to stay there. Once we get to coming back and end up winning the NFC North again, please don't come back. I'm letting you know right now, no entry back in here. As he said before, excuse me, this is no fly zone. You're not coming here if you're not from here. Just stay where you at. So that's it. Like, you're not a fan during the hard times, don't be a fan when things get easy and we start trending in the right direction.
No doubt. No doubt. I'm with you there.
So, but yeah, so this is another day. Dinner D, man. I want to thank y'all for tuning in again. Shouts out to those for tapping in with y'all, man. Like and subscribe. Thank God Almighty, you like to subscribe. Peace, y'all.